Hey, what's up, people? Okay, here we are. It's a new day. I was gonna do another session yesterday, and that didn't happen. I was just too tired from not sleeping. Caught up on my sleep, so got smoked at work this morning. Straight up slaughtered. So here we are. We're jumping in where we left off. And that's about as low as I can get it. So we were doing SQLite testing, and that looks like we're gonna finish that up today. So let's see here. Let's set our timer. We'll do 60 or 68. So we're a minute in. We'll do 67 on the timer. There we go. All right. Okay, so we wanted to test this out here. We got alter table. This is adding a column to the table, so we say alter table. So to add a column to the table, we do alter table, table name, add column, column name, data type, and then you can set it to default to a certain value. So we did default 9. Right, easy. Okay, then we have, this is where we wanted to pick up, need clarification on how check works. So we have cursor execute, alter table, save data, integer, check age greater than or equal to 0. Well, I'm pretty sure we'd have to use this in the context of, oh yeah, and does int work? Let's see. Or is it going to throw an error for line 47? So we run this, and okay, so it didn't throw an error for line 47. Let me get our data and fetch it here. Well, no, we don't need to do that. You know, we don't need to do that. I want to alter table save data integer check. So this is, I'm pretty sure I modified this line. It's supposed to say alter table save data add column ID integer and then check. So I don't know if you can have default and check. That's what we were gonna figure out. So let's see how this works. So let's do this. I'll leave that line there. And now let's move this one up. We're basically just going to copy this one here. Say add column ID integer check. We're going to comment that one out, and then we're going to run it. So it's throwing this error at line 61. That's obvious for obvious reasons. Let's try this again. Okay, so it's line 49, and it's saying duplicate column name ID. So we have to delete the database file because it's already been added to that table and then committed when the last time we ran it. Okay, so throw an error here, and now you see down here it's got the P1 score 1 and none, and this is going to be for the new ID column, that none value. So if we were to subsequently update here. So now if we update save data, we're gonna set the ID equal to question mark, where object name is equal to and we're gonna pass in, so the the object name would have to be one that's already, well, there isn't any yet. So what we'll do is we'll move this below this insertion, like so. Well, we'll go below all these insertions in the update. Basically bring this well, we want to have it before select. So I would say before select, but after date. So like right here. Now we'll copy this div and insert that there. Okay, there we go. So I got everything nice and pretty, prettied back up. It was kind of disorganized and kind of ugly a little bit, but that should get us back on course here. All right. Oh, I moved my trash can. Now it's so far away, it's hard to reach. I have to move it back. Okay. Alright, so let's run this file. It's going to throw an error. Yeah, because we have to delete this. Alright, there you go. It's working. It's throwing this error down there, but I was just making sure it works up until a certain point, and it looks like it does up until, I don't know exactly, but let's see what we want to enable here. So we're probably going to disable Okay, so we can disable this. Okay, so here we go. This is good. Now we have just the only thing enabled right now is need this. I don't want anything to cloud thought process right now. So the only thing we have enabled is the creation of the database, the settings being set to WAF synchronous retrieval of those settings, and I want to see something. I wonder if I can do one execution here. Let's see, execute pragma synchronous, and then let's do comma journal mode and see if this will retrieve both of them. Let's run it and see if it does that. Okay, no, you can't do that. Apparently that is not allowed. Let's ask ChatGPT about this. See what they say. The fuck is this syntax? Cursor executes select all from select synchronous as setting. pragma synchronous as value. So it's like, it's kind of weird here because we have the select synchronous as setting, but then we have pragma synchronous as value. It's kind of weird. Union select journal mode. Pragma journal mode. This is like some there's a name for this in literary in writing. There's a term for this. It's like mirrored almost in the middle. There's like a middle point and it kind of mirrors. That is really weird. I'm not gonna do that because that is a nightmare to read. Cursor execute select all from, and then you do select synchronous as setting, pragma synchronous as value, and I'm guessing the as value refers to like this clause, as value union select journal mode pragma journal mode. So instead of saying union select journal mode pragma journal mode as value, you say as value first. And that is just weird. Like, please don't use that syntax. If you're out there and you use SQL, please don't use that when you could just do this. So is this the second clause wherein as value refers to journal mode? Select synchronous. Oh, so you don't do it as a one-liner. You could do select synchronous as setting pragma synchronous. Creates a column named setting with value synchronous. Pragma synchronous gets the synchronous setting value and names it value. Okay. I see. This corresponds to the value column from the first clause. So value is going to consist of setting is a column, and it's going to have two rows, synchronous and journal mode, and they're going to be in a tuple value. The as value from the first clause defines the column name that applies to both parts of the union. You don't need to repeat it in the second clause. The columns automatically line up based on position. This will give you results like setting, synchronous, journal mode. Okay. And then value is the column. Pragma synchronous is the first value, the first row, and then pragma journal mode is the second row. Okay, I just wanted to understand that, but that is, I will not be using that syntax when I could just use these 2 lines. So we're not gonna do a one-liner there. But it's good to know syntax, right? So we'll get rid of this. Let's run it again. Okay, so it did work. Delete this file. Okay, so we create the table and so we add column. But this time we want to add a column. But we're going to use check instead of default. So let's see. Alter table, save data, add column, ID, integer check. ID is greater than or equal to 0. And then cursor execute update save data set ID equal to whatever, where object name is. Okay, so we don't have the object name, so we have to first make an insertion. So we'll enable this. We'll enable this first insert. Which gives the object name as P1 score. So we're going to be updating where object name is equal to P1 score. So we're setting the ID. We're going to try to set it to -1. But since we have this check here for ID greater or equal to 0, it should throw an error. First, let's set it to just 1 to see if it works. And then we can select. We'll select value from select value from save data where object name is equal to blob data. Select value from save data where object name is equal to score, comma, data. No, let's see. Let's enable this. Let's run it. Okay, there we go. So it worked, and then it retrieves the data, and it's 1075 because that's what we set it to at the top. But what if we do select value ID? What does this do? Unique constraint failed. So this is 62. But we have to delete that file, I think, for this to work. There we go. Okay, so it only... That's strange. So we selected this value ID from save data. Okay, because I'm selecting the first one. That's why. I was selecting the index 0. So if I just do fetch 1 and then data, this should give me a tuple. So now it has the score or the value, right, and then the ID. So it's giving me 1075 and then 1. Okay, cool. Choose the data as a tuple. Returns tuple of data. Returns data tuple containing each field value. Prints tuple. Oh, we don't really need to write that. That's fine. Okay, so that works. And now if we try to run it again, it's going to throw that error because we're doing the unique constraint. You know, we could fix that by, instead of doing this insert, we could do the upsert. And then when it's on conflict, it will, it already exists. It's gonna just set the value to 1. Let's run it. Okay, and we can't do that because, so we still have to delete it because we have that duplicate column. So how do we avoid that, adding a column? Like if there's already a column, we could just do a try except and catch that error. So can you use try except? With SQLite? Not sure. Yes, you can set SQLite cursor errors using try except. Main exception class is SQLite.3 error, but there are also more specific exceptions you might want to catch. Okay. So you can do except SQLite3.error. Gotcha. Okay. Is there a way to add a column only if the column doesn't exist yet? So how do we add a column when, we don't know if the column exists yet. Basically like an upsert for a column. Yes, in SQLite you can check if a column exists before adding it. Here's how to do it. So you would just do select and then limit. So what does limit do? Okay, so what is the limit keyword? That's something we need to know. Okay. So we're going to test foreign key, and then we're also going to test references. And I know this might seem scattered, and it is a little bit, but it's not as hectic as it might seem. Oh god, I'm so sore. Woo, woo. Between the gym yesterday and work, bruh. Man, I'm telling you what, dude. I'm working out a little bit too hard. Paying for it in exhaustion. Okay, so understand below executions. The cats just knocked something over. I heard it. It's all about organization, baby. so much shit. And you have to have that comma because it's not considered a tuple until you have that comma. If you have a tuple with one value in it and no comma, it will not be properly parsed as a tuple. It will be considered like, I don't know. So, um, what is it? Fetch. So yeah, we're writing out a little test for all these different different things. So select all from where object name is equal to p1 score, and then it's fetch one. Print. Alright, so we were actually in the process of testing check first, so we'll do that. So we're altering the table save data to add the column called ID. and it's going to be an integer, and it's going to check that ID to make sure that it's greater than or equal to 0. So then we do execute. We're actually updating the table, where we are setting the ID equal to question mark, where the object name is equal to question mark, and then we pass those parameter values in 1 for the ID, and then P4. So it's checking the ID to make sure it's greater than or equal to 0. So if we're setting ID to 1, it passes that test. But if we change this to -1, I think this should throw an error now. But it's actually for a reason. It's because we keep forgetting to delete this database file after each run. Okay, there we go. I was reading over this. Select all. Okay, I see. I wanted to. I'm pretty sure I could do this. I want to see before we do this. Let's comment this out. Remember that blobs have to be deserialized, baby. Okay, I wanted to test. See this real quick. This select all. Yeah. Okay, so that worked. So this one requires that data 1, data 2, data 3, and P1 score exist. So we have to insert all of those. So we're looking for data 1, data 2, data 3, and then P1 score. So we have to go back up here. And then serialize that data. Here we go. So this selects all, and these so fetch all returns a list. Yeah, fetch all returns a list. How do we know if a queried object is a blob before we Sheila, you can check if a queried object is a blob using the type function or by checking its Python type. If is instance row at 0 bytes. Okay. Yeah. Or we could use SQLite 3 binary. If is instance row 0. Okay. So you need to check during query. Select case. Type of your column is blob. And 1 else 0 in your table. I don't know what that means. What do that mean? Select case. So this is like a scenario. I guess case is followed by when. This is basically like if else. This is a case, an if else case. When type of your column is equal to blob, then 1. Yeah, we don't need to check within the query, but we do want to learn about select case. So we want the case when and case when then and else. Case when then else end. case keyword. Then, and then else. Alright, so the last thing I wanted to test real quick was this right here. So we have the select method 2 where we select all, but since we know the data is trusted, we're gonna do this differently. We're gonna say, instead of using a placeholders list, we'll just pass this. So we have the object name tuple, then we have the execute, we have the result list. So we have select all from save data where object name is in object name tuple. And then I don't think this is going to work actually. No such table. Object name is in. There we go. It does work. Ha! Ah, that's so much easier. Yeah, so instead of using placeholders, we just get the list straight up using an F string. So you can use an F string, select all from using F and tuple / iterable. So this could be a list. I mean, I'm guessing it doesn't. Guessing it doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to be a tuple. It could be any iterable. Okay, no, so it does have to be a tuple apparently. Okay, so it has to be a tuple. It can't be a list. Alright, yeah, so we're gonna have to figure that out. But that's a lot easier than creating this dynamic like placeholder list, because we know that the data is trusted. It's not gonna be malicious, so we don't have to use placeholders. So avoiding having these placeholders straight up, bam. Do it like that, it's much easier. But we do need to serialize this data. Cool. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna get some coffee. Smash some coffee, work out, and then I'll be back. We're gonna do some more, and